everyone. Welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Zoya. Zoya says, I deal with relationship OCD, and right now I feel super anxious and I'm having multiple panic attacks a day when I have these episodes. All I can think is I'm never going to get better. I'll always be this way. What's the point of fighting it if I'm always going to be this way? And I also have worries that my OCD is going to sabotage my relationship and I'm going to lose my boyfriend because I keep thinking, what if I'm not really in love with him? It's ironic because my OCD tries to convince me that he cheated, and even though I don't believe this thought at all, it brings me anxiety. But at the same time, I can't exactly pinpoint what exactly I'm anxious about. I can't tell if I'm anxious about what if I don't love him or what if he cheated. It's driving me crazy trying to figure out, and it's sending me into extreme panic because if I can figure it out, then I can treat it. How do I deal with this? So, Zoya, I'm so glad you asked this question. And, the first thing I want you to see is that last line, which is such a zinger, which is like, I could not wait to speak to this question for you, especially as soon as I read that last line. That you're not sure, is it the thought, what if I don't love him? Or what if he cheated? That's creating all this anxiety and panic. And that if you can figure it out, then you can treat it. And I just want you to know, Zoya, that nothing could be further from the truth. You can't figure these things out because we don't figure out anxious, obsessive, compulsive thoughts. It's like, I should have thought of a metaphor before I jumped on here, but it's like trying to figure out, something that is complete nonsense. It's like, I just have a good one. It's like a Salvador Dali surrealism painting, right? Some crazy piece of art that's like clocks melting and all kinds of stuff happening that makes no sense, that is attractive to us because it's so out there and crazy and we can't possibly figure out. That's what happens in our heads sometimes. So if you can't figure out a Salvador Dali painting, and who the heck could, we'd be making up some crazy theory and we'd for sure be wrong. If you can't figure that out, there's no way you or any of us are going to try to figure out a bunch of panicky, anxious, repetitive, obsessive compulsive thoughts in our own head because they're the same thing. It's like surrealism. Honestly, there is no rhyme or reason to it. There's nothing in that to figure out. And I really want you to see that the more you keep trying to figure it out, just like you said, the more it's creating panic. And it's actually keeping you away from treating it, as you say. But the treatment of it is to see that it's surrealism, see that it's nonsense, see that there's no way you're going to figure it out. There's nothing to even figure out. You say in here that you're having these obsessive thoughts about him cheating on you, even though you know, and you even put all caps, even though you don't believe that thought at all. So look at that. Honestly, think about that. Your mind keeps saying, he cheated, he cheated, he cheated. And you're telling me, as you write this question in capital letters, you do not believe that at all. What's to figure out? You have a repetitive, habitual machine in your head. We all do. And when it gets all wound up, it just repeats stuff over and over. And it will especially repeat stuff that's getting a ton of attention from you and that's creating all this emotion in you. And it will especially repeat that stuff even more when you shine a spotlight on it in your innocence, of course. But when you think, I need to figure this out, you're just pulling it up and looking at it and looking at it and sorting through it and sifting through it. And it is absolutely, please hear this, I promise you, this is the best news ever. It's absolutely not figure outable. You can fire yourself from that job. It is not figure outable. As soon as you kind of just see it as this repetitive stuff in your head, like a surrealism painting, something that's never going to really make sense. It's just what a mind does. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means your mind's really, really busy and you've been paying a lot of attention to it, so it gets busier and louder. But as soon as you can kind of just let that run and not be in there trying to figure it out so that you can treat it, trying to make sense of, do I love him? Do I not love him? Did he cheat? Did he not cheat? It changes. I 100% promise you, it changes when you're not pulling it in front of you and bringing your spotlight and your magnifying glass and looking at it all the time. So you just want to see, all of us, always, what it means in a global sense when we are feeling anxious, when we're feeling panic, when our mind is repeating stuff over and over again, when we're feeling obsessive or compulsive or having all this thinking. It's showing you what the machine in your head is doing. It is not ever, ever showing you anything valid and useful about your relationship or about your life. Whatever our OCD is around, it is not any kind of wisdom coming through you showing you something about that thing. If you have a phobia of spiders, or you have OCD that says you have to wash your hands 50 times a day, or you have OCD that's having you think about your relationship all the time, it's not showing you that your hands are too dirty, that spiders are dangerous, or that your relationship's off. It's just a reflection of what the machine in your head is doing. And machines and heads do this. They just do. And when we misunderstand it and we get afraid of it, they do it that much more. You don't need to think your way to whether you love him or not. It's never going to happen that way. When your mind settles down, you know, because you wrote it in all caps to me, you know he didn't cheat. You'll know how you feel when your mind settles down. You don't have to and cannot think your way there or think your way through it. I hope this is helpful. Please reach out and let me know. Let me know what you hear in this and how it goes for you. It is so much simpler than it looks. And your mind is going to be screaming at me saying, no way, this is for sure about my relationship. And I do need to know these things. And just pat your mind and say, I hear you. But no, it doesn't work that way. We don't get information about real out there life in this sort of manner in our heads. It just doesn't work that way. So thank you, Zoya, for sending this question. Again, please let me know. Let me know what you hear in this. And I hope it's helpful to others, because whether we call ourselves OCD or not, or anxious or whatever it might be, we've all had minds. All minds do this, right? So everybody's mind has done something like this in its own way. So I hope this is helpful to others. So thanks so much for listening. Send your questions to AskAmy at thelittleschoolofbigchange.com, and I'll be here every Monday addressing them. Have a good week.